Greetings, Auto Subs, VideoJames, and today I'm doing a review on, you guessed it because you probably read the freaking title, Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Now, when I saw this game coming out and I saw the thing that said it was actually a new copy of Ultra Sun and or a new copy of Sun and Moon, I basically was like, nope, don't want that, don't want that. But after seeing a few of the trailers and seeing some of the new stuff, I was like, okay, I guess I'll buy it just to see some of the new stuff, plus it'll give me a chance to farm some new legends or get some new Ultra Beasts. This game far exceeds its predecessor. But anyway, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon just beat Sun and Moon by leaps and bounds, and there's just so many reasons why. So without dawdling too much, I'm going to get into this video. So one of the biggest changes about Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon is actually the story thing. That, unfortunately, we did lose all of our memes. That this is the one probably big complaint that I have about the story, besides the fact that a lot of it's kind of copy-paste, but we'll get to that later. But a lot of the story kind of got knocked out that involved any kind of meme. That the Lily getting wet meme, that was kind of a character development moment in the Executor Island, and the scene where Malo's trial actually takes place got gone. Why have you forsaken us, meme lords? And another great thing is the new dialogue and storyline. That there is enough new dialogue and storyline to make it feel like a completely new game. That basically everything they put in that wasn't copy-paste basically took everything else and made it into a new storyline that kind of revolved around this new idea of Necrozma and the Ultra Recon Squad, that basically everything kind of came back to them and it kind of rewound back to that central plot, and it really just did an amazing job. And that was something that Sun and Moon severely lacked, that they lacked some kind of compelling story. But now you actually feel like a hero who's actually doing what he should. The thing about this game is just there is so much bonus content that even without the main story, there's enough bonus content to last you at least a good 24 hours. That everything from Mon coming back to Ether Paradise, spoilers by the way, to some bonus Pokemon missions, to the Ditto 5, which is basically there are a bunch of Ditto hiding out in Kokoni City that you have to hunt down, to even a Pikachu wedding. Yes, there is literally a bonus mission in this game where you get to attend a Pikachu wedding at the Hano Grand Resort. Like, not even kidding. Literally a Pikachu... Well, iterate. I need to iterate this. A literal Pikachu wedding. There is literally a ceremony and everything centered around two Pikachu making the wives. But that's the best thing ever, honestly. Like, that is the best thing that Pokemon's ever created. I'm honestly speechless about that. I can't... At this moment, when I try and remember that, I am truly dumbfounded. I cannot think of the last time that Pokemon put in bonus content like that that was that amazing. Like, even in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, when they put in that bonus content with Wally in the Battle Resort, or the two Team Aqua and Magma Grunts that were kind of running out on that romantic getaway, there has never been a bonus content as great as that Pikachu wedding. There has never been anything like that in a Pokemon game that has left me that dumbfounded. I was absolutely astonished when I saw that. The great thing about this game is the trials have changed. So, a lot of the trials got a bit of a story change, including the new fairy trial with the painter lady. I forget her name, I think it was like Lena or something. But there is a new fairy trial along with some changes to the old trials, such as Malo's trial. But there is new changes to that as well as the fairy trial, and there's some changes to Kiawe's trial, and there are actually changes to the totem Pokemon now, that some of the totem Pokemon have changed around, that instead of it used to be Marowak, now but now it's a Marowak. Now it's actually changed to Marowak, and then it summons a Salazzle. Spoilers. There are a whole bunch of stuff, like the new succeeding villains in the Pokemon games. Yes, the after-game content where you actually have to fight off Team Rainbow Rocket and all of the other villains from the preceding games actually has villains who have succeeded in their own universes. So these villains have all succeeded, and what makes this even better is that because they've succeeded, they all have their own versions of the legendary Pokemon they were after. Yes, I feel like I need to point that out. Giovanni gets a Mewtwo, Archie and Maxie get Groudon and Kyogre. I'm pretty sure Team Galactic guy gets the Space and Time Dragons. And I'm pretty sure Lysander has Zygarde. Or Xerneas or Yveltal. Don't quote me on that, I don't know which one for sure, because I haven't gotten to Lysander yet. But it's enough content to easily last you a good 4 hours. And it is just honestly amazing to see these villains actually succeeding at something. And then moving on to the gameplay, there's just so much more in the gameplay that there is literally thousands of new things introduced in the gameplay, starting with the amount of Pokemon you can actually find. So there are a whole bunch of new Pokemon in the game, and by which I mean there's new Pokemon that you can actually achieve capture of, that you can get Pokemon that were previously unavailable in the old game, that with the old decks only reaching to about 200 and something, and then stopping about there, the new dex reaches to about 400 and something. That the new dex has expanded so much that we have so many new Pokemon that the old dex is basically minuscule by comparison. And another great thing is the new characters, like the surfers that are on the beaches and the Ultra Recon Squad, that I find myself often wanting to relive the Ultra Recon Squad moments, that they were honestly probably my favorite characters in the game, whereas How became my least favorite and I had to sort of paraphrase a catchphrase some of you may have heard, and I had to start saying "shut up, How," just to keep myself from going insane. The great thing is they actually made Rotom do something this game. So now, instead of just sitting down at the bottom of the screen giving random messages like blip, 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 and marking where you need to go, Rotom actually does a thing. Rotom actually contributes to your game. So depending on how much attention you give Rotom, he may get happy or sad. He will give you random power-ups in the form of the Rotom Lotto that he'll occasionally do when his eyes start glowing yellow like he's using detective mode. And he also, if he likes you enough, will give you an extra use of your Z move, which I feel is honestly overpowered. But because you can't use that in online Wi-Fi battles, kind of evens it out. But honestly, Rotom just gets so much more attention in this game, and I honestly feel like he deserved it. That the little guy honestly didn't get the attention he deserved in the old games, and I'm glad he's finally getting it now. New games is actually the mini games. So when I saw the trailers for Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, I was like, oh, they're making mini games, really? Since when has Pokemon had mini games? But hush my mouth, because the mini games are actually really fun. That I found myself easily getting addicted to the Mantine surfing game just because I needed to get that high score, and because it was slightly fun apart from the times when you run into the random Pokemon. And the Ultra Wormhole surfing is actually a really intriguing addition, I guess. That you get to just fly through an Ultra Wormhole and go into random wormholes, and sometimes even obtain a shiny or legendary, but the wormhole surfing is honestly really fun, just because it feels like you're kind of controlling your Pokemon a little more, and you're actually kind of going on this little sort of adventure that's kind of separate from everything, and you're going on this tiny little journey, and it does actually feel really fun. With the addition of these mini games, we also get something called the Beach Points, which are a replacement of the Battle Points, which are basically achieved by surfing on Mantine, and when you get these, you can get new, you can get the Pokemon stat boosting items like the HP up, Calcium Iron, Vitamin X or whatever, but it is also the move tutors now. And one of the most requested moves that I have seen come back is Defog. Yes, I must repeat that. Defriggin-Fog is back in the game. We finally have it back. So now, all of those Pokemon sets that you've been wanting to use with Defog, all of those things that you've seen use Defog, now you have access to it as well, and you can actually use it in your own sort of way. And I honestly just feel so great about that. That Defog finally coming back is one of the best things to probably happen to the games. That since it was locked off in Gen 4 along with Vacuum Wave, it's been highly sought after on places like Pokemon Showdown and all those other places, but now we finally get it back. Defog is finally back in the game, and it honestly just makes me ecstatic. And another thing is that you actually get a lot more customization in the game, from new hairstyles to new hair colors to new clothes, that you just get a whole lot more customization, to even wearing Pikachu garbs. Yes, if you do the trivia that involves the Pikachu in Pikachu's Canyon, you will actually get Pikachu gear to actually wear. A little Pikachu hat with ears on it and everything, and a Pikachu shirt. I mean, let's be honest. Who wouldn't feel good making Giovanni feel so salty being taken down by a kid wearing a Pikachu hat? That's honestly just gonna be the saltiest thing for him ever. But on top of that, there's also some gear that kind of throws back to other people. That you can get Ash's hat from Alola. That Ash's hat from Alola is actually introduced in the game, and you can actually change your riding gear that the color of the pants, the little strip on the sides, actually matches whatever color shirt you're wearing, or at least for me it does. That my character right now is wearing a purple shirt, and on my ride gear there are little spots of purple as well as the purple spots on the side of the leg. So I'm guessing there is a slight bit of customization with the riding gear, and it honestly just is so much cooler. That now we get all the customization that we were promised back in Sun and Moon in this bigger game, and it honestly just feels so great to finally have the customization that we wanted. Now another thing is the trials have become quite harder. Now, while they did change up a few of the trials and made some of the totem Pokemon different, like in Lana's trial, spoilers, there's a Araquanid instead of a Wishy-Washy, and in Kiawe's trial, I already said it, there's a Marowak instead of the Salazzle, but it brings out a Salazzle anyway, so it really doesn't matter. But the trials have become harder, they become more difficult to kind of get through, and it just kind of makes it more rewarding when you actually beat them. And that's one thing that I really like in games, is that when you have something that's difficult, it feels even more rewarding to actually get past it. Another thing is there's so many new places that a lot of spots in Sun and Moon that we felt should have something like the side of the the Hano Beach, or the areas in the one city with the buildings that weren't finished, and there were places all over the place that didn't have finished buildings. Like in Maoli City, there are a whole bunch of buildings that weren't finished, but now we actually have new buildings and everything, and we've got a whole bunch of new places to just go and explore, and it honestly feels really good, including Ultra Megalopolis. Now, Ultra Megalopolis is a really interesting area, and some people actually do want a full game to be around it. Not gonna lie, I wouldn't be opposed. Ultra Megalopolis does actually look very interesting. It is actually a very cool place. It does kind of seem reminiscent of Black and White 2, but it does actually look very interesting. And then another thing is the Elite Four has become a slight bit easier, that the Elite Four won't involve you spamming revives and potions to get through the first time, which for a lot of people is probably going to make you scream with joy, depending on how you play, and some other people not scream with joy. But it's just become a little bit easier to get through the Elite Four, so you won't have to be spamming those 4 stores every 2 seconds. And then another great thing is we finally have the Legends, that in the old games we had 0 legendary Pokemon. That the only legendary Pokemon we had were Zygarde, were the Ultra Beasts, and the main Alolan legendaries, as well as the Tapus, and that was it. That was all the Pokemon we got that were legendary. But now, we finally have access to multitudes of legends through the Ultra Wormhole surfing, that now we have access to legends from so many previous games, that we got access to Pokemon like Kyogre, Lugia, Ho-Oh, Palkia, Dialga, Reshiram, Zekrom, Zygarde isn't really available there, I don't think. But we just get access to so many new legendary Pokemon, and all the Ultra Beasts, that now we can actually catch unlimited amounts of the Ultra Beasts, except for Stakataka and Blacephalon, because those are actually limited. And while you can't catch UB Sticky, you actually can receive it from the Ultra Recon Squad, so make sure you save before you defeat Ultra Necrozma. And then another thing is just the Pokemon interaction, that there are random spots in the games, like an area with a little Rockruff or an area with a little Miltank, that you can just interact with the Pokemon. You can actually perform actions with the Pokemon, and they'll respond based on what you do. However, there are only a few Pokemon that do this, but still, it's an extremely interesting feature, that you can just go around and interact with your favorite Pokemon. You can just spin around with them, you can do the little actions, and some of you can finally get that Miltank date or that Rotom Rockruff playtime. And finally, the last thing, this is kind of just a detailish thing, but everything just looks so much more improved and streamlined. That the battle screens got kind of a more techish looking design, that everything's kind of sharper and more kind of cut off, and it does actually look very nice. The Z move text has changed to where they changed it from that crappy old text to the new kind of cleaner sort of text. And just overall, everywhere just looks so much more vibrant. That all the areas in Alola are now full of so many more colors and so many more areas, and so much detail's gone into them that they just look and seem amazing. I do have one or two gripes about this game, and one of them is a few areas of the game seem too much like copy-paste. That a few areas of the game, such as the Festival Plaza, which I honestly wish they got rid of. I really don't want the Festival Plaza to exist anymore. But a few areas like the Festival Plaza and the, what was another place that was streamlined? But a lot of areas have kind of been copy-pasted to where they kind of just put the same script in, and it's kind of just all the same stuff, like the plane ride back from the Ether Paradise with Hao. That's basically just copy-paste from the old games, and a lot of areas just do kind of seem the same. It's like the moment where you go to the professor's lab with Lily. But overall, I would give Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon a 5 out of 5. That this game is multitudes better than its predecessor. And it actually is a very well fleshed out game. It is a very RPG style kind of game, which is impressive because it does an extremely good job of being an RPG for a Pokemon game. And it just has so many of the things that we were promised, so many of the old features that we love, so many of the new stuff that we love, and just all this stuff has been brought back, and some of the bad stuff's been taken out, some of it's been left in, but overall, this game's just been amazing. I absolutely loved it. But yeah, I would definitely give this game a 5 out of 5. So much better than Sun and Moon. Like, honestly, if you haven't gotten Sun and Moon yet, don't waste your money. Just enjoy the memes that came out of it, or if you want to, and just buy Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Because Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon are waves and titles better than Sun and Moon. But anyway, I'm going to leave this video here. I'll leave a link down in the description to Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon so you guys can actually get it if you haven't already. Again, I do recommend getting it. I honestly recommend getting this game. If you haven't gotten Sun and Moon, just get Ultra and you'll be much better off. That the original Sun and Moon would seem like a piece of crap compared to Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. But anyway, I'm leaving this video here. Voice crack, calm down, let's try that again. I'm leaving this video here. If you guys liked it, you can slap the like button as always, and I'll see all you beautiful people in the next video.